So in today's episode of Maga's Fake Outrage, they are now upset over Cracker Barrel changing the logo. Yeah, folks, that is the world that we live in. That's the kind of thing that upsets them. Now, some people may be saying, Brando, how exactly is this news? Well, in my mind, it's a case in point as to how we couldn't be any more different than MAGA and how we have to realize the kind of person that we are up against. I see news stories every day that upset me. I see news stories every day that are deeply disturbing, and I come here on the channel and we start talking about it. And we talk about mothers who have lost their lives because they couldn't get the reproductive care that they needed. We talk about women who were denied health care because the doctors said that they didn't agree with their lifestyle or they didn't like the fact that they weren't married. We cover stories like that should absolutely outrage anyone, but yet MAGA is upset over a restaurant changing its logo. They're upset about that. And they're going to Twitter and it's now trending. And their rage is out there at Cracker Barrel. And I say to myself, where have you people been for the last 6 months? I'll tell you where they've been. They've been sitting back cheering Donald Trump on as he absolutely went in there and just shredded our Constitution, shredded the rule of law, and is completely changing and rebranding America and rewriting history right in front of their faces. The very people that talked so much about rewriting history and how we couldn't take down statues of Nathan Bedford Forrest or Robert E. Lee, because if we did, people would never know about them. Those people are sitting back now as Donald Trump declares war on museums and says they're too woke. And he's sitting back saying, hey, they just talk about slavery like it was a negative thing. Yeah, that's because it was. And then where do they put their outrage? They sit back and swallow all of that from Trump. And then they get mad at a restaurant for changing its logo. Now, how do I feel about Cracker Barrel personally? I think it's a glorified Waffle House. I've never enjoyed it. A lot of people in my family like it. It's one of those things when they say, do you want to go to Cracker Barrel? Everybody in the car laughs because they know my answer is going to be no. I've never been a fan. That's just me personally. I think the food is a glorified Waffle House, and every one that I've ever been in sounds like I'm in the middle of a construction site. I don't know what the hell they're doing in the kitchen, but it just sounds like that, Mick Foley is having a Hell in a Cell match in the back. And I just don't like the environment. But MAGA likes the environment, and when you really go digging a little bit into this to see what it is that they're cheering on, back in 1991, Cracker Barrel released a statement talking about how that it wasn't going to be hiring gay employees that didn't uphold their values on what they viewed as to be an honorable marriage. So see, that's the type of thing that people like MAGA will gravitate toward. They'll gravitate toward bigoted businesses. They absolutely will. That's where they'll go. They'll go right towards the most bigoted business there is. And it doesn't matter if the chicken's good or not. That's not the point. They will sit there and they would eat the absolute worst chicken sandwich you could put in your mouth if they thought for 1 second that it was going to be, that it was made by people that hated the same people they hate. And that's the type of people that we're up against. I can't imagine being so fragile that I would look online and see all of the stories that are going on, all of the rights that are being taken away from people, the shredding of our Constitution, the National Guards on the street, people being sent out of this country without due process, all the things I could sit here and talk about, and we could talk about it for the rest of the day. And yet, Cracker Barrel changing the logo is what outrages them. I drive past restaurants all the time, some that I eat at, some that I don't. And the logo suddenly changed, or they built a new building, and maybe I like the old building better, or maybe I like the one burger on the menu that now they discontinued. I can't count the times that's happened. Seems like every restaurant that I go to always discontinues the very thing that I like the most. But you don't see me take to Facebook to sit and bitch about it or moan about it, because first of all, I say to myself, wait a minute, I'm sitting here eating fast food, so I shouldn't really be expecting a whole lot. It's not like I should be expecting the most finest of cuisines. I'm just going through a drive-thru to grab a McDouble. I don't really give a damn about the building. Yeah, it kind of looks depressing these days. They don't have the little happy-go-lucky playland out front like they used to have. It looks pretty depressing, but I'm not going to sit there and waste all of my time and energy on McDonald's. And I'll tell you all a funny story. So the town that I live in is so small. We literally only have 2 fast food chains if you count Subway. So there's nothing there. You have to go to one of the neighboring cities to get something. And our Hardee's is being rebuilt. It's a fast food place. It's being rebuilt. So I didn't see any reason to come on here and bitch at y'all about that. I don't know what color the building's going to be. I don't give a shit. But I've been having to go to the neighboring town to get my breakfast in the morning. And about 4 out of the 5 times I've went, they have got my order wrong. And I caught myself getting angry. Just for a minute. Almost took to Facebook to say something, but then I pumped the brakes. You know why? Because there's bigger things in this world to worry about, and I would look like an absolute moron if I went online and sat and bitched about a place that got my order wrong 4 out of 5 times. The question is, why did I keep going? Why did I keep going back? Why am I bitching the 5th time? So my mind don't work that way. When I think about the old phrase, or the phrase that I use a lot on this channel, my hill to die on, when I think about my hill to die on, it's not Cracker Barrel changing the logo. It's not Bud Light putting a transgender person on a beer can. It's not, Carhartt. It's none of the culture wars that Maga has fought has been any hill that I've wanted to die on, because if I had went to social media or came on here on a YouTube video and went off about how the place got my order 4 times in a row wrong, if I'd have done that, I would have felt like an absolute fool, because of all the serious things that are happening every day, and people in MAGA are celebrating. They sit back and clap and say, oh, that's what they get. That's what they get. But now, wait a minute, hold on. The bigoted restaurant that I'm eating, that's not bigoted enough, and maybe they're going to try to make somebody feel welcome, and maybe they're going to try to change up their outdated policies, and we can't have that. And that's the hill they'll rush to die on. That's where they'll go to make the biggest fuss. You know why? Because at the end of the day, they love what's happening to people that they don't like, because a lot of it is happening to brown people. A lot of it is happening to the gay and trans community, and they don't like and understand them anyway. So right now they're sitting back and they're cheering that on. And that's why they cheer on these businesses. And when these businesses suddenly change and they realize, hey, wait a minute, they're not going to be the same old place I've been going for 30 years, that's the hill they choose to die on. And it's absolutely crazy to me that people would waste their time and energy talking about that. And when you show them the stories that I bring here on the channel all the time, those stories make them uncomfortable. And they try to deny those stories. And they try to say that those stories aren't really happening, or that I'm blowing it out of proportion, or I'm making it into something that it's not. And meanwhile, that's where they put their outrage at. It tells me that they really, truly don't care about human beings. That they truly don't care about their fellow Americans. They don't care about their life. They just want their life to be comfortable and cushy, and they want to go sit amongst people and feel like they're safe in a bigoted place. It's so crazy to me that that's where we're at. I walk by stuff all the time. I live in the buckle of the Bible Belt, so I walk past stuff all the time that offends me, and I keep going. And I've never tore down a local business. I've never went online and ran one in the dirt. Why would I? Why would I do that? And yeah, there's MAGA businesses all around me. Why would I want to tear them down? Why would I want to take their livelihood out from under them? I have never understood that mentality. The very people that will sit back and talk about how hard it is to find a job and how hard it is to put food on the table will go out and try to cripple a company over changing a logo or putting someone in a can that they disagree with. They'll go out and absolutely try to cripple that company and cancel it forever. And it may be one of the only places that in their town that a person can even find a job at. But they don't even think about that, because their bigotry is more important to them than anything else. And the truth is, it's not about whether or not they like Cracker Barrel's food or not. It's got nothing to do with it. Cracker Barrel could serve them a shit sandwich, and they would eat it as long as Cracker Barrel was bigoted. The minute they try to do something decent, that's when people, they'll get turned on. And that should tell you everything you need to know about them. Yeah, in a way, this story is not necessarily news. But in another way, it is. Because we're still up against those people who right now is living in one of the most authoritarian times in American history, and they're still asleep. They're still completely asleep at the wheel, and we're trying to wake them up. But the only thing they're waking up to is Cracker Barrel's new logo. So what I say is, try your damnedest to reach people. Try your best to talk and be sensible and bring a voice of reason and express your case and explain your feelings and why you feel the way you do. But don't go down with people like that. Don't go down with people who just absolutely refuse to ever step forward. Save the ones you can save, leave the rest of them. You can't sit and pick at stuff like this. But I don't want to see anything bad befall people. I really don't. But to the ones that are just screaming the loudest about Cracker Barrel now, I just wonder what's going to happen when they're standing beside their daughter's bed and she can't get the care she needs. Is Cracker Barrel's logo really going to matter at that point? Those are the questions that goes through my head when I see that shit.